I'm going to preview the number 15 Baylor versus Texas Tech women's basketball game, which will be played December 21st at 3 p.m. Central Time on ESPN Plus. I will say, though, the men's game is actually that day. And it starts at noon. I don't know if the game's going to be delayed or not. It's a TBD. Just a heads up. I apologize for looking down because I cannot memorize all this stuff. And this is actually a legit reason why I'm going over the game. Texas Tech is actually receiving the second most AP votes as a receiving votes team with 26. Texas Tech's improved from last year. There's no shadow of a doubt. They're 13-0. Granted, you could say the schedule has not been the toughest, but at the same time, they beat everybody that they played, including a good Mississippi State team that their only loss this year was to Texas Tech. They even beat a good Abilene Christian University team. Granted, both of those games that I mentioned were at home in Lubbock, Texas. And yes, I know they went on the road to Washington State, but Washington State is 1-11. Not that good. And yes, I know they also beat neutral sites against Old Dominion. And Old Dominion is like 7-4. I don't know how good they are. In North Texas, they're 6-5. Yeah, barely a 500 team as a mid-major. Yeah, I don't think that's as strong as Baylor's strength of schedule, to be honest. And they're 11-2 on the year. The only losses were to Texas by 35 points, where Talia Scott did get hurt. Even if she was healthy, I don't think there was the win-loss would have flipped. I think it could have been closer, but I don't think it's a win. Now, the other game that was a loss was to Iowa in Lake Buena Vista, Florida, part of the WBCA showcase. It was like 57-52. And yeah, they beat Duke earlier on in the year. That was number 7 in Paris, France. Granted, I know Duke, it may not be as good now. They're 5-6. Hopefully they turn it around. But still, they beat a good Lindenwood team. That was favored to win their league. V has even picked to win the Mountain West this year. UTSA was scrappy. And the last game against Southern, yes, I know it looked bad, but that's a Southern team that beat Houston at Houston. And Arizona at Arizona. Yeah. It was 77-60. And that was the first game without Talia Scott. She does have an ankle injury. I know that for a fact. And I'm going to just address the injury front real fast for Baylor. Nikki Collins said in a press conference, Talia Scott is day-to-day. And at this point, we're just seeing how she responds to treatment. Another thing, a few other players I need to mention. She did say Ella Brown is getting closer to returning. And if people don't know, Ella Brown has not played all year long due to an injury. And yes, she's been without a boot for a while now. It just has not worked out for her to play just yet. And Inez Goryanova is not closer to returning. And Inez did redshirt a year ago. If you don't know, recovering from a torn ACL, literally that January of when she was enrolled at Baylor. Yeah. Then so far this year, she has not played. Just a heads up there. And I know the Big 12 is going to have a league-mandated injury report released tomorrow. I might as well just get this out of the way on the preview. So it's a wait and see on Talia Scott. To me, I do not know if Ella Brown would return for the Texas game or not. This is the first game in conference for both of these teams. What's some players to keep an eye on for Texas Tech? And I will say they do have 3 players in double figures and all averaging 14 points per game or more. And the first one is Bailey Maupin, number 20, a 5'10" guard. That's a senior. 14.8 points per game. And I'll put the outlook on Texas Tech women's basketball in the description below so y'all could see it. 35.2% on threes on 71 attempts. 80.8% on free throws on 52 attempts. 3.8 rebounds per game. 3.5 assists per game. 2.8 turnovers per game. 1.8 steals per game. 2.2 fouls per game. Desnutta Collins, a transfer from Ole Miss. Number 0, 6'1" guard. 6'1" forward. That's a senior. 14.1 points per game. 42.5% on threes on 40 attempts. Now, 70.8% on free throws on 48 attempts, 3.4 rebounds per game, 1.9 turnovers per game, 0.8 steals per game, 0.8 blocks per game, 1.8 fouls per game. There's Jalen Bristow, number 1, a 6'2" guard. That is a junior. 14 points per game, 26.6% on threes, but that's on 64 attempts. 78.1% on free throws on 32 attempts, 7.4 rebounds per game, 2.5 turnovers per game, 1.5 steals per game, 2.2 blocks per game, 2.8 fouls per game. There's Jada Malone, number 23, a 6'3" forward. That's a senior, 8 points per game, 75.7% on free throws on 37 attempts, 4 rebounds per game, 1.9 turnovers per game, 0.7 steals per game, 2.8 fouls per game. Danae Fritz, and Baylor fans should recognize her. She was at Baylor for 1 year, then transferred out to Texas Tech. And even before Baylor, she was at Iowa State. So just a quick heads up there. Number 5, a 5'11" guard. That's a senior, 7.8 points per game. 33.9% on threes on 56 attempts. 6 for 8 on free throws. 2.8 rebounds per game. 1.1 turnovers per game. 1.9 steals per game. 1.9 fouls per game. This Gemma Nunez. Gemma. I just said it both ways in case I was wrong on one way. And she's been the difference why Texas Tech has actually been better this year. I'll go over that after I go over all the players that you need to know. And number 2 is a 5'7" guard. That's a senior. 5.8 points per game. 37% on threes on 27 attempts. 76.9% on free throws on 13 attempts. 5.2 rebounds per game. 5.3 assists per game. 1.8 turnovers per game. 2.6 steals per game. 1.5 fouls per game. There's Sonego, Sarengbebe. Apologize if I butchered that. Number 11, 6'3" forward. That is a senior. 4.8 points per game. Now, 45.8% on free throws on 24 attempts. 3.8 rebounds per game. 1.3 turnovers per game. 0.8 steals per game. 1.1 blocks per game. 2.6 fouls per game. This Cindy Love, number 10, a 5'8" guard. That is a senior. 4.7 points per game. 53.3% on threes on 15 attempts. 8 for 10 on free throws. 2.5 rebounds per game. 1.2 turnovers per game. 0.7 steals per game. And 2 fouls per game. And the last player I'm really going to mention, to be honest, I just don't think it's worth mentioning one other player. And if you're really curious about the last 3, go right ahead. And that's Adley Blacklock. I'm going to just check that real fast. I'm pretty sure it's Blacklock or not. If it's Blaylock, yeah, it's Blacklock. Yep, that's what I thought. 2.8 points per game. 38.5% on threes on 13 attempts. 62.5% on free throws on 8 attempts, and 0.8 fouls per game. Obviously, it's next player up mentality in case, like I said, for Baylor, all those players don't play. Especially if Talia Scott doesn't play. Because if you don't know already, Talia Scott averages 22.6 points per game. Yeah, you got to have some other players step up. And it's all about shot selection. I think that Markayla Johnson forced up some bad shots just to try to be like I know Talia. But it's not really her. She doesn't have to take all the shots that Talia takes to make shots. I'm just making it clear. And the only reason why I think one of the reasons why Texas Tech's honestly better this year is not just because of schedule. It's because Nunez is a true point guard. They made Maupin a point guard in the past, and now she's better off being a second ball handler. That's what Nikki Collins said in the press conference, and even on the radio or the live look-in from last night. I'm just being totally honest. Obviously, whatever you did right last game, you got to bring this game. Whatever you did wrong last game, you got to correct. Especially the free throws. The first half was so bad on free throws for Baylor, but the second half they made more. And I actually heard, for a fact, Nikki Collins said to the bench right before halftime, go to the practice gym. We're shooting free throws. Don't even think about going to the locker room. Yeah, she even said that in the press conference as well, if people are curious. So, yeah, and honestly, the turnovers have to be better. And albeit, it does help that Baylor's played against a few pressing teams this year, especially like the last two games. Practically a full game, and a little over half, I think. It's at least 25 minutes in the other game before Talia Scott got hurt. I mean, that Texas game, before she got hurt. Yeah, she only played like 14 minutes, so yeah, I'm just want to mention that they have played a few pressing teams, and Texas Tech is one of those. And obviously, I know, I mean, not just from the last two games, but they actually played against UTSA, even Lindenwood at times. So you get the point. They're familiar with that. You got to keep your composure, unlike the last game where there was like offsetting fouls and Bugs got her second. Yeah, it can't happen in this type of game. You don't want to especially lose your cool because, if you leave off the bench and there's like a brawl going on, you get suspended. You're out for the rest of the game. I'm just saying that, and I know there might be some questionable calls here and there, but you got to be the mentally tougher team and make plays to win. It's next player up mentality for Baylor in case Talia Scott does not play. Even if she does play, who knows how 100% she is. Who knows? It's day to day. On defense, obviously, you want to... of course, the one thing across the board before I start, you got to limit your foul trouble as much as possible. Make adjustments on the fly, both offensively, defensively, while getting them in foul trouble. I'm just saying. Now, defensively, you need to contain the shooters, contain the slashers, and try to make them very difficult. And don't let them live at the free throw line. And you got to have like good free throw defense, which I know last game, Southern took like 14 free throws. They only missed like one. Yeah, you don't want to foul that too much, especially when you're down a player. A key one at that. And it's not even mentioned the other two. You get the point, though. And I'm not saying give them a free line drive every time, but you got to be smart about your fouling. You got to create some turnovers. Limit the points in the paint. Limit the, transition points. Points out turnovers. Second chance points. And points at the free throw line. You don't want to give them so many easy, clean looks right out of bounds. Whereas from the, side out late in the game or even, underneath the basket. And you get the whole point. And another thing across the board, you got to be good in those late game situations. And obviously it would help to get some steals and block some shots while not fouling, of course. Of course. And you need to try to contain the best players as much as you can. Now, offensively, you got to handle the press better. It's simple. You got to. You got to have good shot selection. And you got to be better in those clock time management type of deals. Because, it happened in the UTSA game. They got a little bit close and then Baylor pulled away eventually. Same thing goes against Southern. They took a quick shot when they didn't need to, like within the first 10 seconds or 12, 15 seconds of the shot clock. You could get that shot anytime you want, like 10 seconds or less, to be honest, if you're up. You got to take care of the ball. You got to get to the if you get to the free throw line, you got to make free throws. Obviously, you got to get some points in the paint. You got to get some points out turnovers because sometimes your best offense comes from your defense. Of course, you got to have like your shooters step up in this type of game from the 3-point line. And all that. I'm not just talking about the turnovers in terms of like the live ball. I want to limit the dead ball ones like illegal screens. You get the point there, and you got to have your better players step up in this type game like Bella Funroy and Darren Little Paige Bugs. If Talia Scott plays, she needs to step up. But even if she doesn't, you got to have Jana Van Guy Beagle step up with some. Even like a Eugene Dong needs to step up off the bench. And a Kayla Nelms, who actually had a career high last game. If she could bring that into this game, that would really be helpful. Or one of those other two like bigs that Baylor has. And Kyla Abraham stepping up big time. Hopefully she has a better game. And same thing goes for Kirsten Johnson, a.k.a. KJ. So you get the point. Just go out there and protect home floor if you can. See what happens. And the good news is you do have another meeting with them in Lubbock. But let's go out and start Big 12 play strong. And you got to be resilient like you were against Southern at times. If you're down, try to climb yourself back into it with defense and making shots. If you're up, you got to protect the lead. You get the whole point. So anyways, if you like this content, hit the like, subscribe, and see you guys later on Reddit. 800 subscribers, goals, ultimate goal is 1,000 more. Some money this course. Like video, comment video really helps YouTube algorithm. Some more people see it. Some more people can watch. And if you're watching and not subscribed, hit subscribe button, ring the notification bell as well.